Have you ever thought of keeping bamboo shrimp or vampire shrimp? Both of these species can make fascinating additions to an aquarium due to their unique appearances and behaviors. If you're considering adding one or both of these shrimp to your aquarium, there are a few things you should know, so let's dive right in. Bamboo shrimp are native to Southeast Asia, including regions of Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia, and the Philippines. They typically inhabit shallow, fast-flowing rivers and streams, abundant with boulders and wood, a hardscape they can cling to while facing the current for feeding purposes. Vampire shrimp are indigenous to Western Africa, primarily found in northern Nigeria. They thrive in mangrove environments and areas with dense vegetation. Bamboo shrimp are medium-sized shrimp that can reach sizes of up to 4 inches when fully matured. They come in a variety of colors like red, green, creamy white, blue, including all shades of brown, which is the most common. They feature a large creamy yellow-brown, reddish-brown, or light-brown race stripe down their back. This stripe is more pronounced in younger shrimp, but present to some degree throughout their lifespan. In addition, some of these shrimp may also display dark stripes along the sides of their body. Bamboo shrimp typically have a lifespan of 1 to 4 years, but with proper care and conditions, they could live up to 6 years. Vampire shrimp are similar in size to bamboo shrimp, but have been known to get up to 6 inches when fully matured. These shrimp are robustly built, resembling tanks with their boxy appearance. Their legs have little pointy bumps which they use to help anchor themselves in strong currents. Nocturnal by nature, vampire shrimp have long antennae that they use to find their way around the tank. Their coloration varies from blue-gray to a strong blue, cream, pink, green, and even a reddish-brown. A vampire shrimp's color can change with each molt and also look different depending on what substrate color you use. In my tank, I've seen my shrimp go from cream to a strong blue. Vampire shrimp are slow growers, leading to a lifespan ranging from 5 to 10 years under proper care. The most unique feature of both bamboo shrimp and vampire shrimp is their fan-like hands, which they use to grab food particles and other organic matter from the water column. When setting up a tank for bamboo and vampire shrimp, it's crucial to consider their specialized feeding habits. Placing them in any tank won't suffice as they require specific conditions to thrive and can starve in the wrong setup. For optimal care, a fully cycled tank of at least 20 gallons or more is recommended, especially if you plan to keep a group. Adequate water flow is essential to maintain oxygen levels and ensure food reaches the shrimp's fans. Providing plenty of plants, wood, and rock formations near the water flow encourages natural behavior, as both species enjoy perching on hardscapes to filter water for food. In my 55-gallon tank, I use a wave maker in conjunction with my filter to promote water circulation and distribute food particles. It's always fun watching both these species perched on driftwood or river stones, extending their fans into the current. In regards to the substrate, sand usually works best as gravel can damage their delicate fans when they scavenge for food. I currently have 6 bamboo shrimp and 5 vampire shrimp, and I've noticed that bamboo shrimp are more outgoing and actively explore their environment. Vampire shrimp tend to be shy and prefer hiding a lot, hence why it's important that you provide plenty of hiding spots for them. Once they find a spot, they tend to stay close to it at all times, even when feeding. Both of these species share similar water parameters. They thrive in relatively hard water with a pH ranging from 6.5 to 7.5. Bamboo shrimp prefer a GH of 6 to 10, while vampire shrimp can tolerate a slightly broader range of 6 to 20. Similarly, the KH ranges from 2 to 6 for bamboo shrimp and 2 to 15 for vampire shrimp, with a TDS range of 150 to 300 for both these shrimp. Ammonia and nitrite levels should always be maintained at 0. Temperature-wise, bamboo shrimp prefer temperatures between 71 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, which equates to 21.6 to 27.8 degrees Celsius, while vampire shrimp thrive in temperatures ranging from 75 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which equates to 23.8 to 29.4 degrees Celsius. In my tank, I maintain a temperature of 75 degrees Fahrenheit and both species seem extremely comfortable. It's important to note that crystal clear water isn't ideal for these shrimp because it indicates that there is a lack of floating organic particles for them to feed on. While maintaining high water quality is crucial, using fine filter floss to capture tiny particles may deprive these shrimp of necessary nutrients, potentially leading to starvation. So it's important to find the right balance between having clear water and making sure there are enough nutrients available for these shrimp to thrive. Bamboo and vampire shrimp are known for their peaceful nature and are often referred to as gentle giants. Initially, bamboo shrimp may exhibit shyness when introduced to a new tank. However, over time, they become more outgoing and active and are often seen perched near flowing water filtering for food particles. Vampire shrimp, on the other hand, tend to be more reclusive and shy. They prefer hiding in caves or crevices within the tank and are more active at night as they are nocturnal creatures. One thing I've noticed with most of my vampire shrimp is that they tend to stay in the lower sections of the water column near their hiding spots. Most of the time when they spot me approaching the tank, they'll dart into their spots for cover. While both species can be kept individually, they thrive best in groups. Though they may not interact directly, being in a group provides them with a sense of security and confidence. Bamboo and vampire shrimp stand out among dwarf shrimp due to their unique filter feeding behavior. They have fan-like hands that they use to grab food particles and other organic matter from the water column, hence why it's important to have a moderately strong flow and avoid crystal clear water due to overfiltration. Powdered foods are ideal for these shrimp. You can grind down fish flakes or any pellet foods until they become a fine powder. Bacteriae, Shrimp Baby, and Shrimp Fit by Glass Garden are other powdered foods you can also feed these shrimp. Try combining different types of food so that they get all the necessary minerals. While both species may occasionally graze the substrate for food, excessive grazing, especially by bamboo shrimp, means you do not have enough food particles in the water. Continuous grazing can lead to your shrimp damaging their fans and eventual starvation. If you notice your shrimp constantly grazing, it's essential you give them more to eat and also check the speed of water flow in your tank. If you plan on keeping vampire shrimp with fish, you may want to feed them at night as they are nocturnal creatures. This could also reduce competition for food. When it comes to how often you should feed both these shrimp, you can give them food every other day if your tank has a strong enough water flow that keeps organic particles moving around. If you see them scavenging for food frequently, it's okay to give them more. Just be careful not to overfeed, especially with powdered foods, as this can impact your water quality. Some shrimp keepers advise keeping a few amana shrimp with bamboo and vampire shrimp, preferably more females than males. The planktonic larvae released by female amana shrimp serve as food for both these species because the larvae require brackish water to survive and develop. It's also important to note that if you plan on keeping these two species with other Neocaridina or Caridina shrimp, they will not eat the shrimplets. Here's a helpful tip. When you're doing maintenance in your aquarium, try running your hands through the plants and gently stirring up the substrate. This will help dislodge any food particles that may have accumulated on surfaces, allowing them to flow back into the water column for these shrimp to feed on. When it comes to identifying the sexes of bamboo or vampire shrimp, there are typically three main indicators. First, males of both species are generally larger than females, which goes against the norm for most shrimp species. Second, the forelegs of male bamboo and vampire shrimp are noticeably larger than their other two pairs of legs. Additionally, male bamboo shrimp may have small spikes on their forelegs resembling those of vampire shrimp. In contrast, female bamboo shrimp usually have all three pairs of legs of similar size, without the spikes seen on males' forelegs. Third, and this is particularly for vampire shrimp, females have larger abdominal plates at the start of the abdomen compared to males. The shells are rounder and deeper through the belly area. Breeding bamboo and vampire shrimp can be quite challenging. Their offspring must go through a larval phase and require brackish water conditions temporarily in order to survive. It's easier to purchase these shrimp rather than attempting to breed them. However, if you're up for the challenge, I'd love to hear about your experience. Bamboo and vampire shrimp molt less frequently compared to other dwarf shrimp species. Adult bamboo shrimp typically molt every 4 to 8 weeks, while vampire shrimp molt once every couple of months. During the molting process, the shrimp feel vulnerable and will usually seek a safe hiding spot until their new exoskeleton hardens. As for the molted shells, bamboo and vampire shrimp won't eat them because they're too tough to break apart and consume. However, if you have other shrimp or snails in your tank, you can leave the molds for them to eat as they provide a valuable source of calcium. Bamboo and vampire shrimp are typically wild caught, and introducing them to a new tank can sometimes be risky due to the stress of transportation and changes in water conditions. To minimize the risk of mortality, I suggest drip acclimating them for about 3 hours before adding them to your tank. However, if you prefer acclimating them differently, feel free to use the method that works best for you. While bamboo and vampire shrimp are generally resilient, they can still be vulnerable to common aquarium parasites and diseases. I recommend that you quarantine new arrivals before introducing them to your main tank to prevent the spread of illnesses. Both species rely on their delicate fan-like hands for filter feeding, which can be damaged if they graze on abrasive substrates. Using a sand substrate and ensuring sufficient food particles in the water column can help prevent such damage. Maintaining high water quality is vital for these shrimp as they are sensitive to fluctuations in water parameters. It's essential to keep ammonia and nitrate levels at 0, and during water changes, replacing 10 to 20% of the water is recommended to avoid stressing the shrimp. If you notice any shrimp remaining motionless for extended periods without feeding, it could indicate a problem. In such cases, check your water parameters to ensure they're within the appropriate range. When dealing with shrimp, it's crucial to avoid copper, especially copper-based medications commonly used for fish. Copper is toxic to shrimp and can be fatal. It's best to treat any sick fish in a separate medical tank and reintroduce them to the main tank once they have recovered. Bamboo and vampire shrimp make for excellent tank mates. These gentle giants typically coexist peacefully and rarely bother each other. If you're considering keeping them with fish, choose species that thrive in community tanks and exhibit non-aggressive behavior. Since these shrimp lack defensive mechanisms, it's crucial to house them with tank mates that won't pose a threat or cause undue stress. I've successfully housed these shrimp with a variety of fish including neon tetras, harlequin rasboras, kubutai rasboras, rosy loaches, hillstream loaches, otocinclus catfish, panda corridoras, and fricata rainbow fish among others. Avoid mixing bamboo and vampire shrimp with goldfish, oscars, cichlids, or other large aggressive fish as they may become targets of constant bullying or predation. Interestingly, bamboo and vampire shrimp exhibit remarkable camaraderie among their own kind. In a sufficiently large tank where they can be kept in a group, you'll often find them hanging out together filtering for food. If one shrimp approaches too closely, they simply move aside to accommodate each other, rather than engaging in territorial disputes. In conclusion, when selecting the ideal species for your aquarium, consider the following factors. Firstly, consider the accessibility of the shrimp species. Bamboo shrimp are commonly found and readily available at most fish stores, whereas vampire shrimp are rare and may be more challenging to locate. It took me 5 months to get my first batch of vampire shrimp, but it was worth the wait. Secondly, evaluate whether your tank is large enough and has an adequate water flow to support the chosen species. Bamboo shrimp typically thrive in environments with a higher flow rate compared to vampire shrimp. Lastly, decide on the tank setup you desire. Whether you opt for a species-only tank, house both species together, or create a community tank similar to my own setup, it's essential to choose one that aligns with your preferences and the needs of the shrimp. Considering these factors, I'm confident you'll make the best decision in selecting the shrimp species that best suits you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you decided to add one or both of these species to your aquarium. If you're just starting out with shrimp keeping and want to avoid the same mistakes I encountered when I began, check out the following video. If you enjoyed this video, you can help support this channel by buying me a coffee, but if it's too much, simply subscribing would mean a lot too. I'm Andy, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.